G'day folks, here's my April collection update. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. This is my very belated April collection update. It's like 3 months into May, so maybe I'll try and be a little more punctual next month, but I'm sure you've all heard that before. Today's beer of the day that we're drinking is Sticky Beak, an Australian Pilsner. Pretty bloody tasty, I gotta say. This is from 5 Barrel Brewing, apparently, so yeah, good work. Not sponsored, sadly. Alright, plenty of stuff to get through, so let's get to it. First up are a couple of ones I ordered from Earache many eons ago. They've been doing these somewhat silly pre-sale versions of all their classic albums reissuing on vinyl. I'm kind of surprised that they do it because, especially with more popular bands like Napalm Death ones, of course people are going to buy like 500 of them. Why the hell are you bothering to do a pre-sale thing of it? At any rate, I did this a long time ago, pretty much forgot about it until I think I saw someone whinging about it on Facebook, and then sure enough, it arrived in the mail. So first up is Godflesh with Us and Them. This is one of their sort of later era albums on Earache. This is actually after Songs of Love and Hate, which I quite enjoy, but this is, that had a drummer, and this one, for some reason, doesn't have a drummer. The album after this, Hymns, also has a drummer, so... But anyway, this is more back to their sort of dancey hip-hop beats on a lot of songs. But yeah, it's... I don't know, I don't listen to this album very much, and I can kind of see why. It's a little all over the place, really. Some of the songs meander a bit long. It's really not my favourite, but yeah, what the hell. It's Godflesh. I still love them. So yeah, this is first time on vinyl, apparently, so this must have been released back when the Earache decided, nah, vinyl sucks. So yeah, it's got some odd songs on here. What is it called? Endgames, I think, is just like no heavy guitars, just Benny's throbbing bass and nasty stuff. I really like Bittersweet as well. It's just sounds like their older, gloomier kind of stuff. Descent is a sort of later, chunkier sort of style. Yeah, I think final song Live to Lose is actually an old Selfless era sort of song, so yeah, it's a good mix. Yeah, you know, it's Spiffy Gatefold, ooh. But yeah, if I wasn't trying to get lots of Godflesh on record, I probably wouldn't have bought this on record, to tell the truth. I've had the CD for an eternity, but I'm trying not to buy quite as many albums that I already actually own on CD, but yeah, it's not really going all that well, to tell the truth. But yeah, and yeah, brand spanking new Godflesh coming out next month, I think. So yeah, that one's on order. Can't bloody wait. And I've heard one song so far. It sounded pretty cool. So yeah, very keen for that. And I'd very much like them to tour again. But I have a bad feeling that they're not so sold on Australia for touring. I think they got ripped off on Soundwave. So the one and only time they've been here. So yeah, I don't hold my breath for them coming back, sadly. But anyway, I love this band. Also from Earache on their pre-order was Cathedral's End Time. This came out originally in 2001, and I also have the CD of this one as well, but yeah, what the hell. First time on record, I think, or first time in a while at any rate. Yeah, this is their sort of return to extreme, heavy, nasty Forest of Equilibrium style doom for this one album. This is after their Caravan Beyond Redemption album, which didn't really grab me at the time, I gotta say. Their albums got sort of lighter and lighter, as you could say. Now that I listen to it now, they're a bit more enjoyable, but back in my it's gotta be bloody heavy days, yeah, this was a good return to form though. So yeah, it's sort of not that growled vocals. It's nowhere near as heavy as Forest, but it's still pretty nasty. It's a lot slower. I think what's the first song? Oh, actually, Melancholy Emperor is yeah, it's got a tough verse riff and then just slows deep. Nice. So yeah, it's got a good mix of sort of slow songs and a few faster ones as well. Horse to Oblivion's kind of a bit rockier and pretty fun. I think they had that one in their set for quite a while. Plus, I mean, a huge bonus of this is the Billy Anderson production, who, unsurprisingly, got a killer sound. Who would have guessed? It's even got sort of a bit more of a Sabbath rip-off again with Asteroid Queen's pretty much just Planet Caravan rewritten. For some reason, this has got like the Gargoylean 7-inch that they did. Ooh, pretty gatefold. It's got like one song on it, but it's got the title track Gargoyle, but not the other song. What is it? Earth in the Grip of a Skeletal Hand. I'm not sure why they didn't just jam that on the end. Side D's got all of like 2 songs on it. Surely they could have fit another one. Maybe it's because it just sounds like Discharge for like half a song and then changes a bit, but oh well. After this was the Seventh Coming. They were back to their sort of rockier, crappier, campier sort of style that didn't really grab me as much. I just kind of wished Lee didn't try and sing as much on this. But yeah, this is bloody killer, so happy to have this one on record. Up next is a freebie that I got, so thanks again, Paul. This is a Tasmanian band called Grim Ripper. They're sort of, I don't know, kind of hard to describe, black thrash death sort of style. It sort of varies quite a bit on here. It's got a bit of ye olde Aussie black thrash sort of style to it, but yeah, I think the first song, Blood Trail, is a bit misrepresentative actually. It sounds a lot more deathly, like sort of your Misery sort of style. And afterwards it's a bit rockier and thrashier and blackier. It's bloody good though. I really quite enjoyed it. An awesome sound. I think this is looks to have my old mate Dave in there from various Queensland metal bands over the years. But yeah, excellent sound. I think probably the Misery sounding song Blood Trail is my favourite, but I really quite enjoyed the Banner's Call as well. So apparently they're soon to be recording a proper album on a Red 17 desk from like Abbey Road Studios in England, i.e. the Beatles studio. So not sure how that came about. I believe it's sort of housed in some Tassie studio on loan for a while, so hopefully that'll sound pretty bloody killer. So yeah, I mean, this is essentially a demo, I'm assuming, and it sounds a bit demo-ish in parts, but I'm sure as I think they're playing live now, so yeah, they'll get their shit together and new album should be good. So yeah, thanks again. Cheers. Up next are a couple I got straight from Prophecy Productions. First up is Bethlehem's latest album with Lieb Dick Leer, whatever the hell that means. These guys are, if you don't know them, check them out. Bloody awesome, one of my favourites. German dark metal masters. So they've had a number of different styles over the years. They started sort of, black doomy kind of stuff, and then just got crazy, I don't know, suicidal black metal-y sort of style, but with like really nice mellow bits as well. And then they sort of morphed into a very odd kind of, sounds a bit like Rammstein, but also with the more focus on the mellow bits and the screaming craziness. And then, they came back around to the screaming craziness, which is what, this is the second album with Onilia, or whatever her name is, from Dark and Northern Slaughter Cult on vocals. And yeah, she screams up a bloody storm. It sounds pretty killer. I mean, my favourite era probably still is the Dictius Suicide sort of era, which is what this actually sounds quite a bit like. So, yeah, I'm happy with the return form, but I'm one of the few people that really like their mellower, clean song, Rammstein-y sounding stuff as well. So I like all eras of these guys. So, yeah, I don't know, I somehow managed to miss this one when it first came out, so I'm glad to grab it. More gatefold action and probably amusing lyrics in German. One thing I love about this band is that they're, I don't understand most of the lyrics because they're all in German, but from what I've read translations of, they're pretty bloody funny actually. So for a suicidal black metal band, they don't take themselves super serious, which I really like. So, but yeah, great band. Another one I got from Prophecy, and one that I've had on CD since it came out pretty much, is Silencer with Death Pierce Me. This is my mate Mark's pretty much his favourite album, or very much one of them. This was a Swedish black metal band that sound very much like Bethlehem, the previous band. They take huge influence from their Dictius and Suicide era, as well as obviously a bit of Burzum and other screaming crazy black metal ones. But yeah, this has the very similar style to Bethlehem of nasty, screechy sort of stuff, and then nice soft mellow bits briefly, and then back into the nasty screaming stuff. But yeah, one of the most notable things on this is the vocals. They're just, out of this world, screaming, crazed weirdness. I think I've seen multiple people refer to them as like a cat being strangled sort of vocals, but yeah, they I'm pretty sure this has got quite a mellow start, and then suddenly they kick in. You're like, "Whoa, hey, okay, that's how it's going to be." I think this is their one and only album. This one, I think, actually doesn't look like it does come with a. They did like a demo, I think, as well. That I think my CD has an extra track from that, but this one doesn't look like it does. I really like the effective, sort of eerie intro of Telka and yeah, I shall lead. What is it? I shall lead you to follow is pretty nice as well. But yeah, musically the slow kill in the cold has an intro that sounds very much like Mr. Badalamenti from Twin Peaks theme fame. So yeah, I'd say they were fans somehow. You get the nice gatefold with the classic crazed pig trotters and covered in blood. I won't go into the amusing stories other than I think the singer supposedly tried to kill a child with an axe or something stupid like that. I think I actually bought Mark a book of theirs once. Maybe I just bought it for him. I can't remember. But yeah, the singer put out a strange book of weird poetry or something or other. It looked a bit special. But yeah, I'm happy to have this version. Yeah, this is a reissue from Lupus Lounge for some reason. I think they must have been the original owners. But yeah, this is a bloody killer album. Just weird stuff. Do not expect normal black metal if you listen to this. But yeah, worth it. Up next is one I got off Bandcamp. This one's Crooner with For Thine is the Kingdom of the Flesh. This one came out on Third Eye Temple or Ancient Dead. One of those two labels, if not both. Yeah, this is kind of a one-man black metal band, but don't let that fool you. It's not sort of, some idiot sitting in his basement with a Casio and a bad drum machine. This guy can play pretty bloody well, I think. I think he plays all instruments. And yeah, this is very much in the sort of Macabre, Astrael, or even Emperor sort of style. Just quite intricate, epic sort of black metal. It's bloody tasty, actually. Really long songs, and yeah, good solos in them as well. As I said, the bloke can play. Sadly, I think it is only a one piece, so I don't think they play live at all, which is a shame. I'm hoping that he'll rope some Sydney bozos into play with him live at some stage, but who knows. I quite enjoyed his previous album, Semp Infernus, as well, which came out on Seance, so yeah, good bloody band. Oh, that's right, and there's also like a fancy version of this that you can get that I didn't want to fork out for because it wasn't cheap, but yeah, if you really like it, I'll put a picture up. It's a dramatic wooden box version or something or other, I think, so yeah. But no, definitely recommend this band if you like your nicer black metal, you could say. I don't mean that in a bad way, but well produced, good sounding black metal. Next up for a batch I got from good old Radical Blarsk. Thanks again, Brad. This one is Corpse Eater with World of Doom. This came out on Mortville Records, or Mortville Noise, whoever you like to say it. There'll be links below, so I'd check them out. This is a very, very fast grind sort of band from Germany. It's a one-man band with drum machine. Drum machine's used a little too normally for my taste. I like it when it's crazier, but it's a good, nice transitions to blast. It works pretty well. The vocals are a bit sort of pained at times. It's kind of a little odd, but not quite to my taste always. And honestly, it gets a bit samey, but yeah, what the hell. Still good fun, so yeah, Corpse Eater. Also from Radical Blarsk is Brad himself with Take That Vile Fiend, their Sphanic Glitch tape for some reason. I think this is like, I don't know, a batch of sort of offcuts that are on various compilations or 7 inches or something. Yeah, it's not my favourite thing of theirs. It's very noisy grind. Honestly, if you're going to check this band out, I'd recommend their proper albums. They're a bit better sounding than this, but it's still pretty fun. It's got some very interesting vocal effects on it. And honestly, not sure why I bought this on tape, because I just downloaded it anyway. Plus, I don't have a functioning tape player, but I'll add it to the pile of, eventually when I'm older and retired, I can buy a new tape player and have a listen. But yeah, everything on Radical Blast on their Bandcamp seems to be free, so go and bloody check it out. Buy a tape if you really want, but and definitely have a listen, because yeah, this is just crazy grindy sort of, I don't know if they're quite gore grind, it's just noisy grind. Nasty stuff, I love it. And lastly, from Radical Blarisk is the Holy Boner and Captain Three Leg split. This came out also on Maudeville Noise. This is the Captain Three Leg stuff's actually Andy from Maudeville's band, long-running band that I don't really have that much of, to tell the truth. They're sort of kind of power violence-y, fastcore sort of stuff on this. Very short songs, lots of funny samples. I think the longest song's like 28 seconds, and it's bloody half samples anyway. So yeah, very to the point, but yeah, no, really enjoyable. Just angry sounding stuff. I love it. Very much sort of in your spaz kind of vein of, you know, raucous vocals. The Holy Boner stuff on this is bloody killer as well. It's very noisy as well. I think they have like an official noise dude, if not two dudes in the band. Yeah, they're very short but nasty as well. Yeah, this ain't very long, this CD, and yeah, it's got a very fancy cover, which I love the cover art, and also a weird clear sort of small CD in a big clear label. I don't know if they're too lazy to cut it out, but I've got various other cutout ones, but I think they're just being nice so that it actually works in CD players. So yeah, this one, highly recommended, this one. For this next one, I've got Simon from Explosive Action to thank for tipping me off on this one on Bandcamp. I got one of the very last ones, I think. I had the pleasure of hanging out and having a beer or two with Simon this last week. We went and saw Emperor play in Sydney, which was bloody awesome gig. Jesus, I'm still kind of feeling a little weary from it. Must be getting old. But yeah, that was an amazing gig. They played all of In the Nightside Eclipse and just, yeah, fabulous. Bloody awesome time. But yeah, thankfully he tipped me off for this one, which is Siberian Hell Sounds split with Convulsing. This one actually came out bloody ages ago, 2018 it looks like, but they obviously found a batch or something or other, I don't know, and we're selling them on Bandcamp, so yeah, there I snatched it, and it's all sold out now, so very happy I got this one. Yeah, this is a split where each band does like one side, obviously, and it's like 1 20-minute song each sort of thing. Siberian Hell Sounds wasn't too familiar with. They're a Queensland 3-piece sort of atmospheric black metal. They do actually listed as grind, but as well, but I don't know. There was some like blast beats. I don't think I'd quite considered grind, but I don't know. This is bloody excellent atmospheric black metal. Really quite fast in parts, but yeah, just sort of builds and builds. Really impressive stuff. The convulsing stuff on this is again another 20-minute track of just Brendan himself. This is just all-encompassing Black Death insanity at first, and then there's some mellow bits and some slower bits as well, but yeah, that's very impressive stuff as well. Just both sides are quite the ride, you could say, and this version comes signed, well, not really signed, it says, "Far beyond there exists salvation, escape." So I believe Simon's version also came signed with a different thing, so thanks Brendan or whoever did that. Very nice work. So yeah, good little split. So yeah, I really do need to listen to this a bit more. Same with all the other convulsing stuff, because yeah, it's stuff that takes a while to sink in, I think. So but yeah, very happy with this one. Next up is a batch I got off Christoph from Incinerated and Eternal Rot and most of Melbourne grind bands. Yeah, he was selling a few of his band ones. He's not actually on this one, but I managed to get suckered into this one. This is Hallucination Realized split with Redundant Protoplasm. Neither of whom I was familiar with before, so I was like, yeah, what the hell? I'll give it a chance. Yeah, I mean, and if Christoph's selling it, man, has good taste, so why not? Hallucination Realized are a sort of grind band from Rochester in New York, I think. It's interesting, varied sort of stuff. It's pretty, you know, grindy, nasty sort of stuff. It's got occasional noise bits in it as well, so yeah, there's stuff impressed, but actually I kind of prefer the Redundant Protoplasm side. They're a grind band from Virginia in the US, more rabid sort of screamy vocals that actually quite reminded me of Flesh Parade, which is certainly not a bad thing. I love that band. But this has got like gory sort of shifted vocals as well, which works pretty well. Yeah, just nice sort of variety of styles. Yeah, quite enjoyed this one, so worthy pickup. So thanks for your recommendation, Fuzzy. Good work. While we're doing it, why not? Next up was Hallucination Realized and Incinerated split, so unsurprisingly, Stickers falling everywhere. What's going on? Hallucination Realizes much sounds like the previous album. Sounds pretty bloody good. The Incinerated stuff is the main one I was after. Just a combo of sort of brutal death and Mortician sort of style of just nasty, nasty stuff. It's just heavy as hell with some killer grooves. Yeah, for some reason this is like the fancy rip-off of some other band who I don't recognise. Limited version. 20 of 52 apparently. So yeah. I must admit I prefer the lobotomized album of Incinerated for the really killer stuff, but yeah, this is from like 2018. This, I don't know if this is just in development hell to actually get it pressed, because I'm pretty sure I've had the MP3s of it since it came out. But yeah, I don't know why it took so long. But yeah, it was worth it to finally get it though. And yeah, the last thing from young Mr. Christoph was I think he's now in this band as well, Rawhead. Oh yeah, he's on drums and vocals. This is a Melbourne gore grind band that are just nasty as hell. Been through a few lineup changes over the years with Christoph now singing, and but yeah, it's still Lockie on guitar. He's the main man. Yeah, this is just very gurgly gore grind from Melbourne. It's just right up my alley. Horribly detuned, just gross sounding as hell. But yeah, a great mix of groove and ultra blasting. There's a charming picture on the back. Most of the tracks are actually on this split they did with Blue Holocaust, Raw Addict, and Active Stenosis, which is bloody killer as well. I would highly recommend this one. But yeah, there's a couple of extra tracks on this. Came out on Suburban Slaughterhouse. I don't know if there's anything exciting on the inside. Something gory, no less. Oh yes, of course. But yeah, it's just rumbling nastiness. I love it. Up next is one I got from Inner City Uprising through their Bandcamp, I think. This is Warp Spasm with their discography. This is an ancient Melbourne punk band. Sort of only around in the early 90s, pretty much. Maybe late 80s, I don't know. But members from this went on to be in Bean Flipper, Magnesite, and now Parasitic Equilibrium. First heard these guys on this amazing Sounds of Ordinary Madness compilation. Their like last 3 tracks are on this, so they do actually sound quite a bit different than the rest of this. They're a bit bit grindy, a bit growlier. And yeah, I've always loved the song was it Consume or Be Consumed, which is the last song on here. The earlier stuff's a bit more sort of, I don't know, kind of DRI sort of style. Vocals aren't quite as amazing. It's like Bucky from Bean Flipper, and I think he was in Vaginal Carnage for a while. Yeah, he's only improved over time. Yeah, to tell the truth, the 3 newer songs are still my more preferred stuff, but it's very nice to have this old school sort of style. For some reason this is like weird. I haven't seen one of these cases before, but it works alright. Comes with this cool little booklet, which is basically just photos and flyers and bits and pieces. There's lyrics and so on, so yeah, not too bad. I always appreciate a good little booklet that comes with it. But yeah, the second disc on this is a live gig, which is bloody good quality for 30 friggin' years ago. I don't know who recorded it, but they did a bloody good job. Or whoever cleaned it up did a damn good job. Yeah, it sounds really good quality. Amusing between song banter and the like. I think it's at a Sydney gig, maybe it was recorded. But yeah, so it's really good to have this nice piece of Aussie punk history. Some reason there was only 100 copies made. Maybe there's only 100 punks that are keen to have it, but yeah, it's still available on their Bandcamp, and digitally it's definitely still available. So yeah, you want to try some old Melbourne punky, grindy, hardcore sort of stuff? Yeah, Warp Spasm. Next up are a couple of French gore grind bands that I got from a record label in England called Grindfather, so always good service from them. First up is Vomi Noir's new album, which I'm not going to pronounce. It is. Yeah, very long French title that I'm not going to embarrass myself trying. But yeah, it's just good, gory, fun sort of stuff. You can never not say they sound like Carcass, because it does sound like Carcass, but yeah, it's just quality gore grind. Although to tell the truth, the guitars get slightly lost in the mix on this occasionally. It doesn't sound quite as punchy as it could, but it sounds better than their first album, I think. But yeah, I like this band. Very enjoyable sort of stuff. And yeah, rather ridiculous long, possibly French song, French gore title, so love it. Also from Grindfather is Pulmonary Fibrosis. This is more French grind. They've been around a lot longer than Vomi Noir, I think. Just gurgly, gory sort of stuff. It's actually recorded in 2020, but didn't come out till last year, I think. So yeah, 2 vocalists, chunky production, just really good use of, your classic Regurgitate style fast gore grind with some heavy groovy riffs. And yeah, cool, awesome cover art from Luisma from Hemorrhage. I don't know, he does good work. But yeah, it's just my type of gore grind, really, to tell the truth. It's just decent production, but not too nice, and just gurgly and groovy and just awesome. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Up next is another one I've owned for 30 plus years, but what the hell, gotta have it on record. Macabre with Sinister Slaughter. I love this band, just killer murder metal as they call. Yeah, this is their second album, and I really didn't want to pay like $300+ for an original version of this, because bugger it, I've got the original CD. That'll do. So this is the 30th anniversary. Well, I've already seen people whinging about the fact that the Zodiac's a bit cut off there, so obviously this is your Beatles Sgt. Pepper's Piss Take with serial killers instead, of course. But yeah, I've seen people whinging about the edge being cut off a bit, but who cares, I got the CD. But yeah, this is probably my favourite Macabre album, although Dharma rates really bloody highly as well. I really do have to get a proper version of Gloom, because I don't think I even own Gloom at all on CD. Maybe a reissue. But yeah, on this, it's, amazing songs. If you don't know this, definitely bloody check it out. Even if I make it sound like shit, it's still worth checking out. Zodiac's one of my favourites, just with the heavy vocals of Nefarious and then the crazed ending. Just catchy as hell. Obviously, the Mary Bell songs are pretty good. White-Hand Decapitator is another classic with vocals from Scary Gary, apparently. He was a farmer who used to do pig calls. Also, of course, it's got the classic Vampire of Dusseldorf, which is their trademark sort of weird, strange combo of heavy and fast verses over nursery rhymes. So, yeah, it's a live classic. Such a weird style, these guys. They're never really quite definable as, just death or just thrash or punk, or it's just a weird combination. They've been the same band this whole time, and they just do what they want to do. So yeah, this is a nice wanky gatefold. Nothing too exciting in there. Boys chowing down on the back. This is the splatter version, apparently. Looks a bit gaudy and silly, but yeah, what the hell. I haven't actually listened to this one yet, but I'm quite familiar with this album. It's one of the best, so yeah, can't go wrong. I don't know if this is the uncensored cover. Possibly might be cut off a bit down the bottom. I think there was more like, baby fetus dolls or something down there, God knows. But yeah, awesome album. Up next are a couple I got from Total War Records from Queensland. First up is Angelcorpse with Hammer of Gods. This is the first album of these like blistering black and death metal-y, war metal-y kind of band from the US. This is nasty stuff. This is Pete from Order from Chaos's band after that. Honestly, this is their first album, and it sounds a bit flat compared to the later albums. I kind of came into this band with that Iron, Blood and Blasphemy compilation, so it was sort of a bit of best of both worlds of their slightly later and this era sort of stuff in the demo. But yeah, this one just doesn't quite hit. It doesn't quite hit there for me. When Abyss Winds Returns, probably my favourite song on this. It's bloody killer. Mainly because I know it from Iron, Blood and Blasphemy. I think Lord of the Funeral Pyre is pretty bloody killer as well. And yeah, really nice cover art by old mate. What's his name? That's right, Bruegel the Elder. That's the one. We had him in a couple of videos ago with Mythos. Yeah, more art lessons from Mendicant Media. But yeah, this is pretty bloody killer. But next up is even more Angelcorpse, also from Total War Records. This is their second album, Exterminate. This is kind of, your Morbid Angel meets Christian sort of style. They got slightly more deathly after this. And yeah, the Morbid Angel worships bit blatant on some. I think it's Sons of Vengeance, just could be pretty much straight off Covenant. But yeah, the production on this is much better. It's still not quite as punchy as The Inexorable, which is my favourite of theirs. But yeah, so many killer riffs on this one. Drums again from John Longstreth, and they're kind of simpler and more driving than his latest sort of style in Origin and Gorguts. But as always, Pete's just raspy vocals are pretty much a highlight, just such hate. And yeah, awesome cover art by Joe Patagno, who of course created the Motorhead Warpig and did a heap of their covers and plenty more. So yeah, I'm not sure what my favourite song on this one would be. Maybe Reap the Whirlwind, it's pretty killer, but yeah, whole thing rules. But as I said, I'm still the Inexorable man as far as my favourite of theirs, but yeah, this one bloody rules. So very happy to have both these on record, because I don't think I even owned them before this. Yeah, Angelcorpse. Up next is one I got direct from 20 Bucks Bin. This is Void Ceremony, one word for some reason, with their Threads of Unknowing album. This is like their second album, I think. I think I got suckered by the fact it's got like Damon from Mournful Congregation and Stargazer and Phil from Cathelos or whatever. Plus bloody spiffy cover art. That always suckers me in. Yeah, honestly, this is slowly sinking in. I don't know, it didn't really click at first, to tell the truth. It was a bit sort of noodly for my liking, but sounds a lot like sort of Later Death, which doesn't really grab me a huge amount, I've got to say. But yeah, no, this is slowly sinking in, I think. I do actually like the guest sort of stuff, the noodly bass solos and stuff. It always sounds kind of fun. No frets on that, man. And yeah, the drumming is freaking powerful on this. Bloody good. It's Charlie from like Ascended Dead and Funebarum, and Live from Morbid Angel and Incantation. So like gets around. So yeah, I think a few more listens, this one will kick in a bit better. I need to have this one in the car on repeat. That's how stuff usually works for me. Listen to it 3 times in a row and it'll generally kick in. So but yeah, quite happy with this one. It's very spiffy looking. So yeah, this is Void Ceremony. Up next is a reissue from Willowtip Records. This is Discordansaxis with their, I think it's second album, Juhu. This is the first album I ever heard of theirs. I don't think I actually own a copy until now, so very happy with that. And yeah, so it still sort of sits really nicely with me. I like this slightly earlier stuff because John sort of growls on a bit more instead of just screaming like a banshee. Yeah, if you don't know, these guys are very sort of discordant, unsurprisingly. Grindcore, just fast as hell. This is like Dave Witt from Human Remains and Municipal Waste and about 20 other bands. This is one of his earlier bands, and it's just insane. Very, very fast. And it does have a slight influence of Human Remains, which I quite enjoy. I know there's just little segments here and there that just remind me, because I've listened to that Human Remains a lot over the years. This version, this is a very recent reissue, just came out, I think, so you might still be able to grab it. There's like 2 LPs, even though the whole thing's like 20 minutes long or something. But it does come with extra tracks off their split with Photography and also their Melt Banana split as well. It's also got a last song, which is just, yeah, a bit of a wank, really. It's listed as like 26 minutes long or something like that. It is a recording of their, I think it's their last song that they did at a gig in Japan. So it's like 3 minutes of improv, which is, I mean, that bit's kind of interesting, but all the rest of it's just sort of like either, just like field recording of the gig. I think people like cleaning up afterwards, so it's like, I was expecting 26 minutes of live Discordansaxis, thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be bloody awesome, and yeah, it's like 3 minutes and then a whole lot of not very interesting noise in the background of people speaking Japanese. So yeah, that's a bit of a wank, but what are you going to do? As usual, it's the very artsy sort of style artwork they did. I don't know if they're fans of the school of Aaron Turner style of very small pictures that I'm not a big fan of. It does come with a booklet, which isn't too bad. It's got sort of lyrics and a little bit of, I think it's got a bit of history of them, a few photos and the likes. Yeah. It's definitely worth getting. It's a bloody killer album, don't get me wrong. I think their Inalienable Dreamness, the album after this, the last one, is probably their better one, really, to tell the truth. But this is still freaking killer. I very much enjoyed this band. Up next is one I got off Discogs. This is Thantifaxath with Sacred White Noise. I believe this album cover's been used by another band. I can't remember who it was, but I saw it recently and went, hey, that's exactly the same bloody picture, just not black and white. At any rate, yeah, these guys are a sort of weird black metal band. It's very sort of, I don't know, kind of like your Leviathan-y kind of style black metal. It's yeah, lots of sliding up and down, sort of higher pitch kind of stuff like Thorns, which I really very much enjoy. It actually reminds me, I could see this being on like a David Lynch soundtrack, possibly due to the visuals and so on, but I don't know, there's just a certain sort of feel to it. I wouldn't have been out of place on the third rather intense, kind of weird Twin Peaks season that came out a couple of years ago. Definitely could have seen these guys on that. I think the highlight for me on this is Lost in Static Between Worlds. It's an amazing song. Yeah, they changed slightly from their previous EP after this. The vocals became a bit more sort of human sounding. They were pretty friggin' intense on that first EP. But yeah, it's just disturbing, eerie, crazy sort of stuff. You could call it avant-garde black metal, but not in your sort of Arcturus weird sort of way. It's just odd. No idea who the band members are. I don't think they list anything. I don't know if this actually has any inner thing. Oh yeah, it's got a black thing and then some writing. Anyway, yeah, I'm happy to finally have this on record because I think this is the first thing I actually own of theirs on physical media, because physical media matters apparently. And yeah, these guys have a brand new album, Hive Mind Narcosis, that's coming out I think next month. I think so. I've got that one on pre-order. That'll be in my upcoming video at some stage, because yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that, because yeah, this is friggin' killer. Bloody good album. Up next are a couple I got from Repressed Records in Sydney. This one is our Costa Rican mates, Astriferous, back again. I quite enjoyed that album of theirs, so I thought, well, I should pick up this EP. This is like 4 songs that came out on Misako. Honestly, it's not quite as good as the album, really, if you ask me. It's still a bit rough sounding. But I think they're actually best when they slow down on this one. I think it's a myriad of grotesquerie is my favourite song on here. It's just got some sort of angular, Finnish kind of sounding riffs and some evil vocals. But yeah, still pretty bloody impressive. I'm looking forward to more of these guys. So yeah, thanks Repressed. Up next is quite a change of pace. This one's also from Repressed. Yeah, I don't just like heavy metal, I also like old school rap. This is Ultramagnetic MC's Critical Beatdown, their first album from 1988, which these guys are a New York rap band, or hip hop. Yeah, this is a damn good year for rap that year. There was like Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, Tougher Than Leather, Follow the Leader, Straight Outta Compton, Power, and By All Means Necessarily all came out, so golden friggin' era. I don't really know that much officially about rap, so this is probably going to be a shit review, but I really love this album. It's pretty awesome. This is the first album of Cool Keith, who's gone on to do quite a weird and varied catalogue of his own with Dr. Octagon, and yeah, I think another Black Elvis album's coming out shortly, so yeah, he's a special kind of guy. If you don't know Cool Keith, check him out. Yeah, get this bloody album, that's for sure. So yeah, this is, he has a very odd sort of style of rapping of, yeah, it's hard to describe, but it's very effective, but just weird, and he gets a lot weirder as time goes on. He's almost normal sounding on this, well, not quite, but getting there. Sed G is the other main guy of this band. He was the main producer of this band, as well as a couple of other albums as well. I think he did some Boogie Down stuff. And yeah, he's also one of the main rappers, and yeah, he's got a nice, slightly more normal but very powerful voice as well, so he sounds killer. But yeah, the production on this is killer. It's really the main thing I look for on rap albums, is really good production. I really don't like any modern stuff that I've heard at all. I like it old and late 80s sort of era. If it sounds as good as Paul's Boutique or Fear of a Black Planet, I'll listen to it. So yeah, these guys, this production I would say rivals Bomb Squad era stuff, like the Public Enemy guys, because yeah, it's heaps of funk samples and just really clean sort of beats. It's killer stuff. I mainly know these guys from this Prodigy sort of mix album that he put out. It's friggin' awesome. He pretty much does, I think almost all of the start of I can't remember what song it is. Possibly the title track, I think. You know, just it's like about a minute and a half just straight. No, it hasn't mixed it or done anything different to it, so I was very used to that song. But yeah, there's some amazing bloody songs on here. Break North, Give the Drummer Some, Critical Beatdown, He's Back. It's just killer stuff. This actually uses that classic sax screaming sort of saxophone sample from The Grudge, from the, was it the, oh, what's his name? The JBs, that's it. James Brown's backing band. Yeah, He's Back's got that classic sample on it, with same year as Public Enemy did it on Terminator X to the Edge of Panic. So yeah, I don't know if they both found the record at the same time or what, because it's not exactly a new record that they were sampling, but yeah, someone got a bit of inspiration from the other. But yeah, this is killer stuff. It comes with this nice, well, it's not exactly a huge booklet, but it's got a nice sort of little write-up on them and a bit of history and so on. But and how can you go past that album cover? That's bloody awesome. But no, if you don't recognise this, if you like any hip-hop, I would definitely check this one out, because yeah, it's bloody awesome. But anyway, back to the metal. So, last but not least, now a couple of years ago I picked up this baby. This is the reissue of Carcass Reputrefaction with a very poxy album cover. If you don't know, the original version of this is all splatter all over it. It's like horrible gory pictures. And this is the version that I got without having, probably should have read the fine print, but anyway. So, recently, straight off Facebook, hey, I got the original version, what the hell. I haven't actually listened to this, so I have no idea on the quality of the record itself. It looked pretty reasonable for like, you know, 35 years old or whatever. But yeah, this is the origin of, you know, your gore grindy medical related sort of stuff. It just doesn't get a huge amount gorier than this. So yeah, very, very happy to finally have the original on this one, thanks to Mal and Mez or someone or other who I bought it off. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's seen better days. It's a little battered here and there, but yeah, this is the original version, so what the hell. So this is, yeah, recorded in like early '88, so not much other death metal around, but they're obviously quite familiar with Repulsion's album when it was just a demo. This is a very good year for Bill Steer, because From Enslavement to Obliteration also came out this year, so nice work, son. But so yeah, this is Carcass at their very earliest, the goriest, nastiest. It's just terrible sound, really. I love it. It's perfect. Yeah, but for all the crazy sort of fast songs like Carbonized Eye Sockets, the Carcass groove is still already there. It's shown really well on was it Splattered Cavities, Oxidized Rays of Massacrator, and Pyosified Rotten to the Core. Or Gore, sorry, I think it is. Yeah, which pretty much sounds like it could be off Symphonies. I'm assuming that's a later song. Fermented Innards is another actual good song. Oh yeah, there's some charming titles on here, that's for sure. Another of my favourites is Feticide. Lovely. But yeah, I mean, it starts with the killer 1-2 combination of Genital Grinder and Maggot Colony. What is it called? Maggot Colony? Yeah. Oh no, Regurgitation of Giblets. Oh yeah. Yeah, that General Grinder intro. I've seen so many bands start with that. It's it's been covered at least 4 times, I think, since I've. Let's see if we can get that nicely shown. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Yeah, I just love that. This has got crazed pitch shifted vocals. This is where back when they had like all 3 of them sang, so the shifted vocals just sound like dog barks occasionally, especially on, I think it's Feast of Dismembered Carnage, that has the best use and just a grooviest buggery riff. This is just killer. I mean, you're unlikely to see much of this live if they ever, when they play. I think they might occasionally start with Genital Grinder, or they might play Pyosified, but yeah. As far as the solos go, this ain't like the classic later Carcass where they're like, you know, got nice names and they're actually proper solos. This is just whammy explosions like your Rick Ross sort of style. So yeah, can't go wrong with that. Yeah, I honestly was never that familiar with the demo before this. What is it, Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment, which are pretty much all these songs. but it's got an even crapper sound, and just the original singer Sanjeev was just sort of, I don't know, slightly boring death metal-y sounding. Nowhere near as interesting as Bill and Jeff combo. So, and no shifter, so. But yeah, this is just friggin' mandatory. Let's have a look-see. Got a nice sort of classic collage-y, you know, articles about gore and amusing lyrics. Yeah, can't go too wrong with that. Let's have a look at the record. Got nice lots of light. Yeah, looks pretty reasonable. Not too shabby. Can't see any giant scratches, so yeah, hopefully that one will play just fine. So yeah, very happy to finally get this one. So yeah, thanks again, Maz and Mel. Yeah, killer album. So thanks again for watching. It's tempting to promise that I won't be quite as lazy with my next collection update, but who knows. The pile is already a building. I stopped by Repress Records in Sydney on the after Emperor, and yeah, I got a few more things to add to the pile for that one. So but yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.